The United States has the largest number of prison inmates in the world, even though there are two countries with much larger populations than our own. Over 50% of the inmates are in there from drug offenses alone. And it all started in 1971 when former President Nixon declared a war on drugs. There's a lot of problems with the war on drugs. First of all, it was started by President Nixon. He is not a president that many would look up to. And an aide has actually come out to admit that the war on drugs was politically motivated and that he used it to target some of his political opponents, some of whom were the African American community. And we see that today still when only one white male is arrested to 4 black men. And it's also created this crazy economic inequality. Everyone in every economic status does drugs, but only some can afford to pay their way through the court system. Speaking of issues with the court system, it takes months to see a judge. Why is that? Probably because we're arresting people at record numbers for doing drugs. If we stop doing that, our justice system would flow so much smoother, and we'd actually guarantee the right to a quick and speedy trial like we're supposed to. We would also create such a better foreign policy. Right now in Latin America, we kill so many people to fight for the prohibition of drugs, and it's not working. We've actually created a black market with our policies. Our policies create this black market for the drugs, and then people in Latin America and other poor countries use that to create a business for themselves, and it doesn't end well. It gets people killed, it gets our people killed, and other people in that country killed for no reason. Instead, we could take a different approach. We could take the opposite approach. We could decriminalize, something that we've seen in Portugal. And when that happened, they had lower crime rates, lower drug uses, and fewer infections. It would reduce the spread of any STDs. It might take a little bit of money to put into rehabilitation programs and maybe like needle dispensaries to help exchange, so we reduce the spread of diseases. But in the end, we'd actually save money because we would reduce the amount of people that we have locked up so drastically. We would also completely eliminate those drug-related prosecutions and arrests. We could also even save money on our foreign policy, like I said, and just not have these ridiculous wars on drugs against these drug cartels. Instead, we could legalize some of the drugs. Like in Colorado and many other states, they've legalized marijuana, and it's amazing what they've seen there. The impact on the gang and cartels has not gone unnoticed. Now they can't funnel drugs into those states because there's no reason to. Why would people buy them from them? And they could do that all across the country, and it would cost those people so much money, thousands, millions, who knows, maybe more. And it would just reduce the violence, not just in our country, but in their country. It could even make their countries possibly livable, because right now, some of those countries are pretty much overrun by the black market of drugs that we've created in the United States with our policies. We could also make money on all of these additional drugs if we decided to legalize some of them. We've seen that happen in all the states that have legalized marijuana so far. Colorado has an excess of money that they made from the legalization that they can put towards so many different good programs like schools and roads. God knows we need the money there. So if we could just do the right thing and elect officials that would support legislation to decriminalize and even legalize some of the drugs, it would clearly lead to fewer drug overdoses, less crime, and fewer infections. It would also reduce the gang and cartel violence, not just in our own country, but everywhere, all across both continents. The point is, So many lives could be saved if we just have our voices heard and vote.